Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering personalized service to customers from their first visit to the store to when they drive their new Land Rover home. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com.
A new painting comes to the Peoria Riverfront Museum. That's just one of the things you want to hear about to start your day for Friday, June 7th. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, proponents of keeping chickens on properties within city limits are making their case to the Peoria Planning and Zoning Commission. WCBU's Tim Shelley has more.
The question comes after East Peoria approved an expansion of special use permits to allow backyard chicken coops. Chickens were discussed at yesterday's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in Peoria. Petitioner Kimberly Giraldo says of the 150 largest cities in Illinois, 70% allow backyard chickens.
So by allowing backyard chickens, we can align Peoria with these progressive and sustainable urban agricultural practices that many in the state have already adopted.
Supporters of the petition attending the meeting wore yellow to express their support. They say mental health, food insecurity, and sustainability are just a few of the reasons for allowing chickens in Peoria. However, Aloysia Mitchell says she moved to Peoria for an urban environment. She says the city would become less urban if chickens are allowed.
If I even drove by and saw chickens in the area, I would not have gotten out the car to look at the property.
Mitchell also raised the question of chickens attracting other animals, such as coyotes or rodents. The commission didn't say whether they'll consider drafting new rules to allow chicken keeping after the petition was presented. For WCBU, I'm Tim Shelley with reporting from Isabella Nieto.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. A judge in Springfield is blocking a new law that would have prevented General Assembly candidates who didn't run in the March primary from getting on the November ballot. And Peoria City Manager Patrick Urick says the city is likely to update its special events ordinance after council member Denise Jackson raised concerns about block parties. You can find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. On this week's episode of Out and About, Dr. May Gilliland Wright of Arts Partners of Central Illinois talks with nationally renowned artist Alfred Conte about the unveiling of his new painting, The Unseen Majority, at the Peoria Riverfront Museum on Sunday. Joining Conte in the studio is Everly Davis, Assistant Curator and Community Engagement Coordinator at the museum.
Alfred, Everly, welcome to Out and About.
Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Alfred, I know I speak for many when I say we are absolutely thrilled that you are returning to Peoria. The new piece you are unveiling, Our Greatest Inheritance, is a first of its kind for you. Until now, you focused on the stories of those living in Atlanta. How did you go about selecting the subject for this new painting?
The large part of that process was just being present in Peoria. Actually, Everly and I and a couple other people went out on I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and she was showing me the lay of the land, places around town, and I had my camera with me. I was taking pictures of people and places as we were going along, and we went to a barbershop. There we met a family, at least part of it was a father with his daughters and his son. I guess when it comes to part of my process is I don't pose people. I allow them to take the picture as they see fit. And then we took a few pictures with them, and they were just doing what they were doing as kids and a father. And I had them to those photographs. And then, as we talked about the project, the potential of it, and what the subject matter of that would be, that immediately came to mind.
From what I understand, you mentioned this as well, it's a father, so it sounds like it speaks maybe to family ties because your work often does have a message underlying it.
Yes. One of the common threads that undergirds my work is confronting stereotypes and tropes about Black men, especially fathers. So when it came to attacking that subject matter, I wanted to be very clear, and especially in regard to how that family and especially the role of fathers is positioned in that work.
So Everly, this will be added to the exhibition Fresh, New Directions in Contemporary Art. Tell us how this new piece fits in with the work that is already on display there. And importantly, as I understand, we talked about scale just now, this piece is the largest that the museum has ever commissioned.
Yes. Not only is it the largest that the museum has ever commissioned, it's the first work that we've ever commissioned, period, which is really cool. And to touch on a little bit about Alfred's process as well, when we were going around to different, barbershops and restaurants and local businesses, we did take a lot of photos. He took a lot of photos. I just had consent forms ready. The museum, our team allowed him to select the subject that he felt most led by. So it wasn't, even though we're asking him to create a painting, we really wanted this to be still his work and let him do what he does best. So for us with Fresh, we allowed him to choose the subject, and this one happened to be a family. And the kind of second portion of that exhibition title, New Directions in Contemporary Art, this is a totally new direction, not only for the museum and what the art world is looking at, but the presentation of it. So often we see the Black experience depicted in a very serious, contemplative, somber, and melancholy tone. And so this one has a more jovial air to it. So it uplifts the other works that are in the gallery. And its sheer size is just such an eye catcher when you walk into. So we were really excited to add it to this space. And also the very first Alfred Conte painting that we had was in the same gallery space a year ago. So it's cool to hang this one up in that same area.
You've been listening to Highlights of Out and About, a production of WCBU and Arts Partners of Central Illinois. To listen to the full interview, visit WCBU.org or subscribe to the podcast.
Support for arts and culture coverage on WCBU comes from PNC Financial Services. PNC is committed to supporting local art and culture events in the communities they serve.
Now, before we let you go, the Peoria Park District's Parkapalooza continues on the Peoria Riverfront tonight and into the weekend. Find food, inflatables, soda tasting, a drone show, live music, and more. Event and ticket information is on peoriaparks.org. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.